Hello, it's David, Secret Property Club. I'm here again to talk to you, but this time about something so important for landlords, specifically in the UK, in England, and for property investors. We are talking about tenants and how can you do tenant screening in the correct way? Because every one of us had probably difficulty in understanding the process, the correct process on how to vet your tenant. And believe me, if you find the right tenant for your rentals, then you're probably going to reduce your amount of stress for like 80%. Because finding the correct tenant will reduce, rent arrears, problems with the tenants. When we're talking about reducing stress, I'm not just saying that you're going to have one bad tenant or one bad month. And it's not just about having tenants that will miss the rent. It's a lot more than that, because when you have bad tenants, you're going to waste time. You're going to have stress that you don't need to. You're going to have more repairs. You're going to have to deal with the courts. So having the correct system in place is super, super important. And there is a process to do it. So today I'm going to talk to you about that based on my experience that I used to manage over 250 properties for more than 100 landlords. I stopped doing that a few years ago, but today I want to share the experience with you. I'm going to be honest, I had some slides, but I'm having technical issues, so I'm just going to record. And what I suppose you should do is to watch on desktop on a big screen and watch the video and look at the article, because I'm going to put the images and the slides on there. So the whole experience of the Secret Property Club definitely works better on your desktop computer or on your laptop. So let's, get started with that. What is the real cost, of having a bad tenant? It's not just, like I said, having one missed payment. It's a lot more than that. You're going to be wasting time. You're going to be chasing tenants. You're going to be calling tenants. You're going to have to do more admin work, sending emails, making phone calls. So that's time. You're going to be losing time when you have a bad tenant. You're also going to be wasting and losing money, because you're going to have arrears. You're going to have more repairs when you have bad tenants. And if they stop paying the rent and you need to evict them, then you're going to have legal fees as well. And we don't want that. Plus, stress. Stress is so important to be managed well, because when you are stressed about your tenancies, your mind is occupied and you don't really have the time or the mental space to be doing other property deals. You don't have the mental space to be present with your family, to be present with your friends, to be living your day to day in the manner that you want to. So you don't want to have stress with tenants. Nobody is in property for that. These are the three things that having bad tenants will cost you: time, money, and stress. And we don't want those. So here's something so important when we talk about finding the right tenant. You're not finding the right person to live in your property. You are trying to reduce risk. That is what you're doing. You're reducing risk so that your business can run well. That is why having a process to find the right tenant is important. If somebody can't pass the reasonable checks that you do when it comes to referencing, etc., on a tenancy application, then it's not your job to just be nice and be sympathetic and try to help people. We are running a business, so your gut feeling is important, but you also need to look at the facts. Having checks always done the exact same way, it's important. You should not fall for pressure from tenants to have the property rented very quickly. You should not fall for the pressure of, I need to rent a property quickly, so I'm going to just accept anybody. That is a problem. If a tenant cannot pass the checks that you want to do, and I'm going to talk to you over all the checks that I do and that I recommend you do too. If they can't pass those checks, then it's a no, and you should reject the application immediately. The other thing is, like I said, sympathy and trying to be nice to people, that doesn't work when it comes to vetting tenants. I don't rent for people that I know. Even I tend not to, only because then you automatically will feel that you have to help that person. If they stop paying the rent, they feel entitled because they know you, because they're friends. They're gonna do psychological games with you, so that's a no-go. And I try to do the same process, the same vetting process for tenants, the exact same way for every single person. Now, let's talk about the funnel, the process for vetting tenants. And every single person go through these exact 6 stages to vetting tenants. And I recommend that you take note of them and you do the exact same thing. So first, we're talking about identity and the right to rent. That's very important. Then we have income and employment. How much money will your tenants receive every single month? And is that sufficient to support the rent, the lifestyle that they have, and all the costs that they might need